You see it here, where judges in New York are too prideful to enforce the law, too prideful to put criminals in jail, and so they have to deploy the National Guard. Think of how insane this is. This is literally a random Wednesday. They have to deploy the National Guard to their subway system because crime has gotten so insane, because they refuse to enforce laws. This is how bad things have gotten in blue cities. But to enforce laws is to admit that objective morality exists, which they can't do. It's too humiliating for them. And the fact that everyone is screaming at them, enforce your laws, lock up the criminals, means that they're not going to do it because they're being seen as frauds. It's prideful, it's arrogant, it's ugly, but it's uniquely leftist. It's starkly leftist. These are the cities that are letting criminals out of jail, multiple-time felons out of prison. These are the cities that are claiming they are sanctuary cities for illegal immigrants, many of whom are coming out of mental asylums and prisons from other countries. People are saying that this NYC subway system is looking like a TSA checkpoint, but it's actually even more dystopian than that because they have rifles. TSA isn't even armed. If you go through security at most airports, you see that they don't even have weapons. They just have the blue shirts. There are literally like National Guard members here with AR-15s. This is how bad the crime is in New York. This is because they don't want to exercise the acknowledgement of objective standards and parameters. And on top of that, I guarantee you that all these, at least 90% of these New York citizens that are walking by are thinking to themselves, oh my gosh, this oppression, holy shit. They're invoking laws and standards on us. This is actually crazy. Their ideological failure is so immense, so disgusting, that it necessitates basically the army securing their city. And then they still have the gall to say, oh, this is oppression. Oh my gosh, look at these evil white men holding rifles, keeping us safe from killing each other. This is literally oppression. What you're seeing is the architecture of resentment. These people have resentment for all objective parameters, and objective parameters are emergent principles from reality, which include objective morality. So the clear statement from these soldiers being here is that crime is unacceptable, and you guys have been fucking up really badly for it to get to this point, which is the reason why we have to be here. That's the symbol of them being here. And so that is an enraging symbol to New York citizens, because it's a signal that they've been judged as a result of making the wrong decisions, of having the wrong ethos. But they don't learn because they're narcissistic. It's the exact same way as these people that have refused to update their mindset from lying about COVID. 99.9% of people who push the COVID nonsense haven't even apologized for being wrong. Oh, we were just on the right team, so we were being hostile for a justified reason. The ideology of Marx tells these people that they're good people as a result of being on the left. That what we're really dealing with here is mass anti-reality psychosis. People who en masse are driven by pure resentment for being seen as frauds, for their ideology being rendered fraudulent. When you realize that the ideology of the left, which is called, and guys, this is very important that you understand, the ideology of the left, which is called Marxism, says that in order to be a good person, in order to gain virtue and status, all you have to do is adhere to the ideology. So once you say the objective standards of being a good person are related to reality and not their ideology, then you not only say that they're wrong, but you say that they've been lying for years. And that's what they can't stand, is being seen as frauds for all these years, because it means that everything they've ever done and everything they've ever said has been hollow. And while they claim to have virtue, they've actually been the bad guys. This is what essentially implants them in this place of being absolutely degenerate. You see these tweets come out every now and then that are from mainstream leftists that have platforms that are so disconnected from reality. You think this person clearly could be diagnosed with a mental disorder, because what they're saying is so disconnected from reality. But the reason they're willing to say it, and the reason why sometimes the tweets or whatever get thousands of likes, is because those people liking the tweets, or the people that are tweeting them, or just saying insane things, or delusional women on these podcasts like Fresh and Fit, or whatever random video, they're not actually interested in truth. They're not interested in reality. In fact, they view reality as oppression. This is what people have to understand. They view reality as oppression because they are driven by the resentment of Marxism. There's a lot of examples that I can point to. Meltdowns, insane, lunatic statements. But they all come from the left. And this is what this century is going to be about, is understanding the architecture of left-wing evil, the incoherent and evil nature of left-wing ideology and the corresponding danger with it. The 20th century, meaning last century, the 1900s, was mostly about understanding right-wing totalitarianism. That dominated the world, especially with World War II. And we did fight communism. Obviously, communism was a massive threat, but people didn't understand really what motivated communism. It's the hatred for reality itself. And that's what's animating these people today, which have a hatred for reality. It's ultimate resentment. A massive swath of the population which is experiencing the fever of the sickness of the woke mind virus. They are possessed by resentment, not by an interest in virtue, merit, or understanding the truth. Instead, they are enraged with us. They are enraged with the thinking people who see them as frauds. Andrew Tate talked about this a little bit on one of his recent emergency meetings where he said, the lies are just becoming more and more extreme. Something he didn't point out, which I think he missed, is that the reason why that's happening isn't just because they're resentful and hate reality. It's actually because they are deeply embarrassed and humiliated at being seen as frauds by more and more people that wake up every single day. Because a central tenet of adhering to the left-wing ideology is being narcissistic. These people have unfathomable narcissism to think that objective reality, A, can be constructed in the image of their ideology, and B, doesn't exist in the first place if they deem that it doesn't exist. You have to have, basically, that's the ultimate form of narcissism, to think that you can say what reality is rather than reality objectively making itself known to you. The people that think like that are enraged that they can't control what you think and say. And so the problem isn't going away. It's becoming more radical. They are disconnecting from reality more violently. You have people that are now demonizing the mechanisms of understanding reality itself, like logic and reason, as oppressive. It's no longer oppressive to have certain opinions or to have certain positions. That's yesterday's news. That's the news of 2021 and 2022. Now it's oppressive if you use logic and reason to understand ideas. And I think we are just at the beginning of this phase of civilization where there's a massive swath of people that are so enraged at being seen as the frauds that they've been, basically claiming counterfeit virtue, counterfeit moral status for so many years, that what we're really dealing with here is mass anti-reality psychosis.